Hello, hello, hello. I've been thinking a lot about the word hello over the last few years, actually. By the way, my name is Alex Levin. I'm here for the Sunday morning meditation, usually at 10 o'clock Eastern Time in the morning on Sundays. I'm pre recording this time as I won't be available Sunday. So there won't be a chat function available to communicate and have that. What's that called? The interaction that way, live interaction. But we're here together anyway in this cyber world on YouTube, Sun and Moon Yoga Studios page, channel. Hello. The title of today's session is This Being Human as a Guest House. It's the title of a poem by Rumi, and I'll share it with you in just a moment before we settle into our meditation. In the teachings of yoga, there's put forth this idea that can be applied to any endeavor, anything that we want to improve, to change, to learn, to grow, to evolve. It's what I often call the yoga of action, the steps, the 3 steps of the yoga of action. For those of you Yoga Sutra aficionados, junkies, it consists of the last 3 niyamas, the observances of how we what we do for ourselves in our practice. And the first of the 3 is usually titled discipline. And I often think of it as showing up for what we care about, what we are devoted to. Just a little aside, my meditation teacher, Adyashanti, would say that, has at least once said that what we're devoted to, we may say one thing, but it actually shows up in our checkbook and our calendar. So sometimes this step of tapas, of showing up for what we care about, doesn't align so easily, or it's not that difficult. So it is required. This discipline is required. This energy, this effort, this fire to follow the fire of our passion, a certain courage. The second step, the second part of this path is self-study, and often described as the study of scriptural texts, and could be thought of as inquiry. And this is naturally happening as we're self-reflective beings, as we're wired that way. And just in different degrees of how much that is awaken us and how much we use that tool to reflect, to see more clearly, and again, to learn and grow and move toward greater alignment, with a greater harmony with our purpose, with our being, with others on our planet. The third step is often translated surrender to the Lord, surrender to your idea of the divine. And one of my favorite translations is slipping away from me, by Chip Hartranft, is aligning with the ideal of pure awareness. Aligning with the ideal of pure awareness. So there is a letting go of perhaps our narrow paths, our narrow vision, and relaxing in an alert way into our source, into life force, into something greater than our small self, our limited self. Again, Adyashanti has said that what we seem to try to do sometimes is to fit it's as if what we're trying to do in our life is to fit the universe into a small sweater, a jacket. And so if we can realize that we can kind of open that jacket instead of trying to fit the universe into it, just expand, relax, trust. But getting to that takes being in a safe space. But we'll return to that with our grounding. So, hello. Part of the self-study, part of the understanding of ourself, the inquiry. As we meditate, so there's a little piece of it in our meditation. And as I share this poem with you and this little inquiry piece, you can start to set your pose for meditation if you're sitting or if you're lying down, and make sure that you feel very comfortable where you are for our 12 minutes of stillness and listening, sensing space. So let me share the poem, Rumi's Guesthouse. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Treat each guest honorably, as they may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, as each has been sent as a guide from beyond. So as with poetry, there are multiple levels of interpretation and windows into this understanding. And as we sit today, mostly we're sitting, we're being aware of, we're making a commitment to sitting, to being still, to being, and to attend to our breath. That simply. However, as we sit, and invariably guests come, right? Guests such as, other than just the breath and sensing this body, relaxing into this body. Maybe some tinge in the knee happens. Maybe the mind goes into list making. Maybe some heart-wrenching memory comes up. So the invitation is, Rumi's invitation is that we can say hello. We can say hello. We can notice that guest. And this pondering of hello is such a norm in our culture that we say it to a stranger as we pass on the street. We say it as we come in contact, as we meet, as a acknowledgement, as a recognition. No matter what the relationship is. Although we might, there's more in that. Sometimes that guest that's coming may feel like you don't want to say hello to it. And my recommendation would be to honor that. That is yet another guest in you, that part of you that isn't ready to say hello. So sometimes the guests come in quick succession, and we can uh, welcome them all. But how then we do have a choice of how we deal with them. So during meditation, for the most part, we'll just ask the guests to either, if it's a nice day, stay in the yard, social distancing, whatever, stay, have a drink of lemonade that's there, or come inside, help yourself. The refreshments are in the next room. So we're not spending a lot of time with them. We're just noticing that they come. We're saying hello. We may talk to them more later. It's oftentimes they are things that will need our attention in greater depth. So this can be a little experiment, an auxiliary practice as we sit today. Having settled, lightly sensing the body, having made this commitment to sit, that first step of the path of yoga action. You might imagine yourself, the insides of your whole body being like a cave near the ocean. Cave near the ocean that at high tide it's become full all the way up to maybe near the crown of your head. And to help us get grounded in this beginning part, we just let the tide go out and the water level is coming down, 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 down past the eyes, the jaw, the throat. Slowly the water receding back to the ocean, helping us to come into the body and to settle the energies past the heart, past the diaphragm muscle, settling down, even coming through the shoulders, elbows, forearms, past the navel and lower back, forearms, wrists, down through the pelvic bowl and pelvic floor and through as if watching just the water sink into the sand at the base of your pelvis, legs, or feet, however you are in contact with earth. And let your hands come to rest as you hold them, perhaps resting on your legs or held in a particular gesture. And any time that you feel you get distracted by too many guests coming at once or too much involvement with a guest, you can quickly sweep through this way to find a sense of groundedness and cultivating this sense of groundedness can help also cultivate a sense of safety, a sureness of what is truly supporting us in this moment, the only moment that really exists. And we can say hello to the breath, just as it is. Letting ourselves relax, just simply aligned with gravity that's pulling down toward the earth, holding us. Ground, breath, and the third part of this mantra that I use to ground, to center, to help me to feel, to be the doorway into presence is sound. We can just notice what hearing that word, that pointer sound, what that evokes. And feel how that pointer of sound indicates the constant relationship we are in with all other forms, energies, beings. In a sense, these three might be guests, ground, breath, sound, who we're very familiar with. And I can envision them sort of lounging in my guest house, And so they're good friends and they're easy and they're supportive to me as the hostess. And they even assist me as other guests, other particular thoughts or sensations come. That for now, there's nothing I need do but say hello. I see you. And so all these pointers, all this awareness of the guests, you can also eventually let it all drop away and just sense the presence of simply being. Bringing our palms together in front of the heart and bowing, just noting for yourself what gratitude may be alive in you right here. So the saying hello to the guests is a beginning of an inquiry. The meditation practice, of course, as I've mentioned before, if you're joining me for this, it's you already know and feel and are drawn to the value of the practice of stillness, of silence, of sensing what it is to just be, of beginning to become more and more familiar with our own presence. But the saying hello uh, opens us to this inquiry of another kind of practice, another mm, that we can have this attitude of inquiry, a more open attitude of acknowledging, of not pushing away, of recognizing a part of ourself, a situation, from a place of feeling safe, from a place of groundedness, from a place of where there can be a seeing, a more and more clear seeing of what that guest is, and perhaps what that guest evokes in ourself. Thank you for joining me. Please check out Sun and Moon's website and join us for many, many different wonderful events we have. Ciao, ciao.